Hey, sports fans, welcome on in. It's the Down and Dirty with Scott Mitchell. So glad you could join us. It's a Monday. That means it's a fun day. We love Mondays because we get to go and examine all the amazing things that happened in the sports world over the weekend, which there's always crazy stuff. It's legal tampering day in the NFL, which is such an odd statement. And I'm surprised that the powers that be said, yes, we will allow you to say legal tampering because it sounds like maybe there's something else they might want to be doing. Anyways, great show today. We're going to have a lot of fun. We are going to go way outside the box. And when I say outside, I'm talking like 100 million miles outside of the box of the normal sports that we really talk about. But I'm really looking forward to this. So we have a special guest joining the show right now, and I can't wait. I can't wait to get into this conversation. This is going to be a ton of fun. So Adam Bannon is joining the show right now. He is, well, tell us a little bit about, so you work for Jomboy Media, and you kind of know everything in the world there is to know about cricket. So we decided that we wanted to find out, understand what the heck a billion people in the world are deciding or like about cricket, because I know nothing about it. Anyways, welcome to the show, Adam. How are you today? And thanks for being here.
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me. And yes, they call me the American cricket guy. I teach the Americans everything about cricket. That's me.
All right. So tell me, why is cricket so popular around the world? What is it about cricket that just really moves the needle?
Well, the biggest needle mover is that it's popular in India. So India has, billion people.
Right.
And then it came pre-baseball, right? So British Empire, they kind of make cricket. Everywhere they go across the world, all the colonies they found, they teach them all cricket. I was born in Australia, so Australia is a big cricket nation. And everyone kind of, besides America, is big on the cricket. And I like to joke that, once they win the Revolutionary War, they're like, we're just going to make our own sports. We don't want anything to do with any British sports. That's how they just go off and play baseball and invent baseball and turn that into their game. But everywhere else is cricket, whether it's from all the Caribbean nations to South Africa, New Zealand, England and India, and that everywhere around, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Nepal, they all play cricket. And obviously that's where a lot of people there. And that's like their sport. So that's why cricket is the second sport in the world, mostly because South Asian community, big population, and that's their number one sport.
So do you think, I'm just curious why it's not popular in the United States? I mean, you mentioned the Revolutionary War, and it's like, we're going to move away from all things, British, I guess, but why has it never really, kind of taken hold in the United States, and it's such a big thing in other parts of the world?
Yeah, it was actually quite interesting because the first international game of cricket actually took place in America against Canada. So 1709, USA played Canada, and that's the first international match. Even before Australia played England, which is the biggest rivalry, we call it the Ashes. Even before that ever happened, USA played Canada. But one of the things that cricket is different than baseball is cricket is kind of like the gentleman's game, kind of like golf in a way, where it's very like, oh, yes, we're playing cricket and let's have a cup of tea. Like they literally break. It's called a tea break. They have a lunch break. They have a tea break. It was designed to play for 2 hours, sit and have a meal, play for 2 hours, have a cup of tea and a scone, go back and play out for 2 hours. And once the light is gone, then we're done for the day. And they would play for 5 days. 5 days is one game. That's how you play test match cricket. And in America, one of the things that limits cricket is you have to play on a pitch. So if you've never seen a pitch, you're going to understand a pitch. Think of it like a golf green. It's a curated piece of grass, a curated piece of soil, and you have to have a curator to be able to make that work, to make the pitch work. And let's say if it rains, you can't play, and it's hard. You need ground that's big enough to play. Whereas baseball, you can throw 4 bases down in a field and you can play. It's very easy to play. There's no curation needed to make the ground happen. So the other thing is that with the classy, baseball is kind of like the brawls and beer and yelling at the umpire and a little more rowdy of a sport. So that's why I feel like really it was that Revolutionary War period. Like our founding fathers all played cricket. But as it kind of like went through into establishing America, they really established baseball as their sport, and it was more, I guess, quicker, because cricket originally was, like I said, 5 days. It would play forever. And now that we live in a world where we play a smaller game of cricket called 2020 cricket, which the World Cup just finished yesterday with India winning the World Cup. So yeah. And that's so it's never really caught on, and Americans feel like there's too many rules and the learning curve is too hard, and so that's why I think they haven't really invested, but they're slowly getting into it.
All right, so we have our stadiums that facilitate baseball and football and soccer. What type of stadium or setting? I mean, can you go, hey, we want to go into I don't know, AT&T Stadium in Dallas, Texas, and is it possible to play a cricket match in that stadium, or what are when you talk about a unique setting, what is a stadium, or what does an arena or whatever? I don't even know. Do you have to have a specialized arena for cricket?
Yeah, so it is difficult in America because the stadiums aren't built big enough. So
they're not big enough.
No, they're not big enough. No. So the dimensions, the MLC, so the Major League Cricket, it's into its 4th season this year. Last year, they acquired the Oakland Coliseum. So Oakland Coliseum was owned by the A's. That stadium just fits the dimensions for a cricket field. So to fit the dimensions of a cricket field, it has to be 68 meters. So times that by 3. It's going to be around like 250 feet, something around that. 220 feet has to be like every direction. So you have to be able to have at least that limit, like latitude and longitude on the ground. So most football stadiums don't have the width. At depth it does, like from end zone to end zone, it has the depth, but it's not wide enough. So they would easily just hit the ball over the fence for 6 and home run 6 very, very easily. So they were able to manipulate the dimensions of the Oakland Coliseum and just fit it in. Is it considered a small stadium, like one of the smallest around the world? But it did work. So we play in the Oakland Coliseum, and then they built their own cricket stadium in Grand Prairie, Texas. So it's built in a circle. So most cricket grounds are called an oval, and they're built in an oval or circular shape rather than the rectangle shape, so that you can fit the cricket in. Like the Melbourne Cricket Ground in Australia, one of the biggest stadiums in the world, holds like 120,000 people, and it's massive. It's absolutely huge. They also play Australian rugby league football in there too. So yeah, the stadiums are an actual issue in America. All the MLC teams are actually building stadiums around the country over the next few years to kind of make it possible for us to play cricket in America.
So there is an interest in the United States. I mean, when you say the MLC, is that a league in the United States alone, or is it, or where is it? I mean, and how do you grow a sport like that in the United States? Because so much of the sports we have are youth programs and being able to play some. So is it a sport in America?
Yeah, so it is here. So MLC is Major League Cricket, and that is, like I said, 4 years into existence. And that is really built. It's like it's really a top-down sport rather than being a grassroots up kind of sport. It's kind of top-down. So it's a tournament-style play. It's 6 weeks. And half of the team roster is international superstars, international all-stars. They come out, and then they're playing with the best of the domestic league players. And most of those domestic league players are inside of Team USA system. So that Team USA, they beat Pakistan at the last World Cup, where cricket got a lot of noise inside of the USA. USA just was playing the last few months in India and Sri Lanka for the 2026 World Cup, where we unfortunately were knocked out, but we're really close against India. Almost had a big upset against India. So that's where the mingle is. So it's more of like a spectacle for cricket fans that, really like the players. All of these players play in the IPL, and they play all around the world. IPL is the Indian Premier League, which is like the biggest league, rivals of the NFL, like biggest franchises in the world. That's, huge money in India for the cricketers over there. So as for infrastructure on grassroots, it is really, spread out and really small. There are small pockets inside of the US that have growth. Like Texas is a big cricketing community. California up in the San Francisco area, they have a small pocket there, and then it's kind of like spread out. But it is growing, and it has to trickle down. Once this MLC kind of grows, and we get a lot of interest in watching the big all-stars play with the USA players, then money will start flowing down towards the minor league system, which is starting to grow also, and then down to like grassroots club level.
So, like, is it an athletic sport?
Yes, very athletic.
I know that sounds kind of weird, but like, you look at, there's a certain athleticism that you have to be able to have to play, professional football in the United States, or basketball or baseball. What's the athleticism requirement to play cricket? And maybe even the body type too. Like, are you better if you're shorter, taller, or are there different positions that lead to maybe a different body type? What's the athleticism requirement to play cricket, I guess?
Yeah, so it's going to run very similar to baseball. If you're training to be a professional baseballer, you're training to be a professional cricketer. It's the same level of skill, from like your fielding, your ground fielding, your speed, your throwing arm, being able to hit, talking about power hitting. The one difference, like there's a skill technique difference between cricket and baseball. But from an athletic perspective, you could take your top cricketer and your top baseballer, and you could go do a combine together. They're going to be carbon copy players. They're the same athlete. They're just doing a little bit different things. The baseball is going to have a little bit more power, and the cricket athlete's probably going to have a little bit more endurance, because especially when you play the longer form of the game, you have to bat for potentially 2, 4, 6, 8 hours, like multiple days of batting outside in the hot sun. Yeah, in the shorter game, it doesn't really matter. You're just playing for like that 3 to 4 hour window. But no, very similar. And then when it comes to bowling or pitching, we call it bowling. You're gonna have mostly taller guys are pitching. The taller the better. You don't have too many. And then there's tall guys, they're bowling fast, and the shorter guys are bowling spin. And the spin is its own unique talent in itself. You don't have to be physically fit at all to be a spinner. The ball is coming out at between 45 and 55 miles an hour, and it's all about the manipulation of your wrist. So you have like older guys into their 40s still playing major league, still playing for their nation, because they literally just walk. They walk in and they bowl the arm over, but the ball will bend like 45 degrees off the ground and almost be unplayable. So that's its own unique skill in itself.
So what's everyone, or I shouldn't say everyone, a lot of people feel that hitting a baseball in Major League Baseball is the hardest athletic feat that you could have. What is cricket compared to hitting a Major League Baseball? Is it harder? Is it easier? Could hitting a cricket ball, I guess, I don't even know if I'm saying this right, could that be the hardest feat in all of sports, or is hitting a baseball still pretty hard?
So I get this question a lot, and generally everyone tells me that it's the hardest thing is to hit a Major League Baseball. And so I always counter that with it's different. You have to always feel, when you look at cricket, it's not about hitting the ball. So hitting the ball is easier, clearly, because the bat is 4.5 inches wide, but that's not what you're trying to do in cricket. In cricket, you're trying to stay at the crease, like stay batting for as long as possible and accumulate as many runs as possible. So you don't just get one at bat. In cricket, you only get one chance. So if you get out one time, let's say you hit it in the air, you get caught, you're done. You sit in the dugout for the rest of the game. You don't play again.
What?
And yes. So you only get one chance. So in baseball, you get 3 strikes and you're out, and then you get to come back in the lineup. So you get, like, let's say you get 10 good swings, whatever, to try to get, if you're top of the lineup, you get many chances to swing and hit a ball.
Yeah.
In cricket, you only get one chance. So you could literally go out there, the very first pitch, the very first ball of the game, you could miss it and it hits your stumps. There's no strike zone. There's physically 3 sticks in the ground. And when it hits the stumps, then you're out. So you could swing and miss on your very first ball, and you get out for 0 runs, and you're done for the day. But so the goal is to stay out there as long as possible and accumulate as many runs as possible. So the way I like to describe it is, if a baseballer crossed over to cricket and tried to play a game of cricket, even though they could hit the ball 400 feet, they're not going to last long at all. They may be able to make contact with a couple of balls and it squirts away. They can run for a single or whatever, but they're not going to be able to score runs or have the skill, because you have to be able to hit the ball in 360 degrees. So you have to be able to hit the ball like, 90 degrees of your body, hook it over behind your body, ramp it over your head, hit it down the ground. Baseballers have one unique swing. Cricketers have many, many swings and many, many shots you have to learn. There's about 12 different shots you need to learn to be able to play cricket. But if a cricketer comes to play baseball, the really cool thing with cricketers coming to play baseball is that now all the shot options are taken out. You just have to swing one swing. And I like to say, cricketers kind of know where the ball is going to be. We know the ball is going to be outside your body, and it may be breaking or maybe coming in or two seam, whatever, but is generally where it's going to be, and it's going to be on the full. It's not bouncing. So cricket, the ball bounces, and you don't know where it's going to come. And so that's where I feel like cricketers can transition over to baseball, and it would be baseballs would kind of look a little silly when they come to play cricket.
When you say hit the ball 360 degrees, that would include behind you.
Yes.
So the ball is coming at you and you have to figure out how to hit it backwards?
Yes, absolutely. So they call it a ramp or a scoop shot. So what would happen if you were to think about it in baseball terms, while the pitcher is pitching the ball, you would step over the plate and then you would angle your bat, point the bat straight back towards the pitcher, and then you would hit it up over your head, and it would fly over your head and it would go for a home run behind you.
So if you are up to bat, is that the term?
Yeah, up to bat. Yeah, at the crease.
So you're up to bat, you swing and miss, you're on the bench. When because you switch sides, right? You're both. Do the same players go out in the field when they're not batting, or do you get to go out in the field if you've lost your chance to hit in the game?
Yeah, so I'll break it down for you. So how it's going to work. Yeah.
Walk me through it here.
I'll walk you through it. So at the start of every game, there's a coin toss, and the captains will go out. Whoever wins the coin toss, they'll decide if they want to bat or bowl first. There's no home or away pre-selection. It's all done at the toss of the coin before the game. Is it better, really quick? Is it better to go first or last? So weather conditions, the pitch, the kind of lineup that you have, you may want one or the other. Some teams prefer to bat first. Batting first gives you a little bit of an advantage because, disadvantage because you don't know the score that's posted. So you don't know how good you're going to be. Chasing, if you're batting second, you're what we call chasing, you know the total. So you know how fast to bat. When you bat first, you're kind of just having to go at your own pace, and you could find yourself a little bit short on the runs because one team will bat all the way through. They'll bat there a lot of time, and the next team will chase that number down. So after the coin toss, you then pick your team. Well, the team is selected. Now, inside of your team, there's 11 players, and for the basis of ease, five are batters. Everyone can bat, but 5 are really good batters. 5 are pitchers or bowlers, and 1 is your catcher keeper, and everyone is eligible to bat. And like I said, you only have 1 out. So if you get out, you just go down the order. So generally, you have your best batters at the top, and you'll go down, and even your pitchers, your bowlers will have to bat. Now, some bowlers, pitchers would call all-rounders, like Ohtani, where they're really good at bowling and they're really good at batting. Mm-hmm. That's a really general skill. It's a common skill in cricket. Most people have to be able to bat and bowl because everyone bats, and not everyone gets to bowl. But if you can do both, then obviously you're worth a little more. So let's say you decide to bat first. You're going to go out. So you'll send 2 batters out to the middle. 1 batter will be on strike, and 1 batter, the on-deck batter, he'll stand at the same end as the bowler pitching from, or the pitcher's mound. And him and the other batter, they're going to be batting in a partnership. So when the batter hits a run, he decides to run, they'll cross places, and 1 run will go to the batter that hit the ball, and 1 runner will go to the score. And they can continue going backwards and forwards. Now, the way that cricket works for T20 cricket is that it's 20 overs. That's how you tell. You can think about it as 20 mini innings. Each pitcher gets 6 pitches, and then you'll change pitches. So all the defensive players on the team, everyone that's the other team is playing defense. All 11 players are on the field. There's no bullpen. So all those 5 bowlers have to be fielding, and you'll change with someone else in the field. So once you've finished your 6 balls, you'll give the ball to one of the fielders, one of the defenders, and then he'll bowl from the other end, because the cricket wickets are set up like where you bowl from one end and then you bowl from the other end, and the batters will stay in the same place, but the bowling will change. And you'll do that 20 times, 20 rounds of 6 pitches. So 120 pitches will get bowled per innings. And then the batting team, they're trying to score as many runs as they can. So let's say they score 200 runs, which is an average score for a T20 game, well, a good score for a T20 game, because you count every run. So like if you think about it like baseball, imagine if you made a single and that single counted towards the total runs. That's how cricket is scored. So every time you make one run, it just goes to the score. And then every time you hit a home run, like we call a six, you get 6 runs. And if it goes all the way to the fence or the boundary, we call the boundary, on the bounce, you'll get 4 runs. And you can run as many times as you like, as long as you stay inside your crease, like getting tagged on the bag. You have to get back to your crease. So, and then the team batting second, they're just trying to beat the score inside that a lot of times. So once 20 overs have been bowled, that's it. If you don't score the runs, if you don't score 200 or 201, you'll lose. And if you do score 201 runs, you win.
So when you're out in the field and you're defending, do they have mitts? Do they have gloves, or do they just are they barehanded or
everything's barehanded?
And so when you can you catch the ball in the air? Is that an out, or what's the strategy of being a defender?
Yeah, so all the fielders besides the keeper, the catcher, are barehanded. So the catcher gets gloves. Their glove is 2 gloves. Kind of similar to, let's say, goalkeeping gloves in soccer. They have a little bit of webbing in between the thumb and the finger, and some more padding. But they have a glove. They wear a helmet, and they're actually standing like 60 feet back behind the stumps, because when the ball's coming in at 85, 90 miles an hour, it's going to bounce, and then it's going to fly. It's going to carry. And so the catcher wants to catch that ball just as it's coming on the way down. Because you can catch foul tips. So that's why they'll set a field defensively to catch a foul tip. Now, everyone else is just barehanded. And when you play cricket growing up from a young age, you basically have to just get that, weathering on your hands and get used to having that leather ball slap into the hands. And you get comfortable doing that. All the ground fielding is bare hand. So you got to learn how to pick up single hand, throw in single hand, diving catch single hand, and even skies. If there's a sky ball, you got to be able to set yourself underneath it and learn. You basically interlock your fingers like this. You kind of lock your fingers like this and take the catch. If it's up there, you kind of take it like this. Or if it's going up over your head, you kind of just go 2 hands up, kind of like this motion here. So yeah, you kind of learn it from a young age. You get used to it. I just find, like, I've tried to play baseball and I just find the mitt so unawkward. Like, it's so awkward having a mitt on. I'm not just used to I'm not used to having it. But there's the skill from like that shortstop, third base, second base, like one hand pickup, throw to first. That skill is the same skill in cricket. So you have that skill. When they go to run, when they go to cross, the infielders, the cover and mid-wicket positions, they're going to be just like that position in baseball. They're going to pick it up one-handed and they're going to throw to the keepers or the catcher's end. And then that instead of tagging, they have to break the stumps with the ball in their hand. But it's very similar skill.
Speaking of the stumps, it looks so, I don't know, precarious. Are they pretty stable? Is there, just like, we're going to put, a few sticks or stumps in the ground and then the little wickets across. How is that set up? I guess it would be something you'd have to, keep setting up. So is it like pretty stable? I don't know why this is on my mind, but it just, that whole setup seems so peculiar to me.
Yeah. So the pitch is like I said, like a manicured green. And so they actually like hammer. It's like a giant nail. Imagine there's a big spike on the bottom. They nail the stumps into the ground. And then the stump itself is about 1.5 inches wide. It's 9 inches fully across for the 3 stumps. And you knock them all in, and then for the live broadcast, they even have little cameras inside the stumps. They have a mic. They have a mic inside the stump because you want to see like the batter, if he's in the crease or not. They can use that mic. And the stump mic is actually really important because they use a cool piece of technology called Snicko or Ultra Edge, which actually will pick up an audio spike if the ball hits the bat and the keeper catches it. So they like, if you want to get like a foul tip, you can catch that ball, the batter can be out. They'll actually go to a review system. Most of the review systems and technology you see in sports were developed from cricket. So Hawkeye was developed by an Australian guy for cricket, because one of the weird rules in cricket is if the ball hits the batter in the leg and the ball would have hit the stumps if his leg wasn't in the way, he'll be given out what we call LBW, or leg before wicket. And up until the 80s, when they invented this technology, it was all umpire decision. The umpire would look at it and he would say, yes, from the trajectory of the ball, I think because he missed it with his bat, it hit him in the leg, I think it would have hit the stumps. We're going to give him out. But they invented Hawkeye for cricket so that they can predict when it hits his pad, would it go on and hit the stumps? And then they took it to tennis, and now they're taking it now to baseballs, finally getting the ABS system, which was built for cricket.
This is all really fascinating to me, but the bowler, right? I guess the pitcher or bowler,
bowler, yeah.
So, can he walk a batter? Can he throw like so poorly and so inaccurately that does that matter, or how is it possible to, I guess, take a base or get a run if the bowler is inaccurate?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I've actually never had that question before. So the batter on strike, there is no walk comparison to baseball where you getting the batter off strike without, intentionally getting them off strike without letting them hit. What the bowler will do, though, is that will bowl the ball in an area where the batter, it's almost impossible for them to hit a big shot. So there are guidelines on the pitch, and anything outside of the batter, which we call the offside, which you would call over the plate, there's a lot more leniency. And basically, as far as the batter can stretch his arms, that's where we call a good ball. Anything outside of that ball will be called a wide, which you would kind of call a ball, right? So now if you bowl a wides, if you bowl the ball outside of where the batter can swing, you actually get a penalty run to the batting team. So they actually condone you. They try to stop you from doing that. They want you to put the ball in play. So if you bowl the ball too wide, 1 run goes to the batting team, and you have to re-bowl the ball again. So you got to try to put it in play, basically. If you bowl the ball behind, let's say you throw the ball behind the back of the bowler, or behind the back of the batter, also a wide, also you got to re-bowl it. So what you can do as the bowler, what they're trying to do is bowl what's called a Yorker. And a Yorker is where the ball bounces right on the toe of the batter. So when that ball comes in right at your feet, it's almost impossible to get underneath the ball, and it's impossible to really guide it. You can only play a defensive shot, what you call a block, which basically you just put your bat in front of your foot, let the ball hit the bat, and then you hope for the best. Like, you're probably not going to run, but maybe the ball could spray or get an edge somewhere you might be able to run. But the best ball to bowl as a bowler is what's called a Yorker, right at the batter's feet. And then they'll do tricks like with change-ups, which we call slower balls, off cutters and leg cutters. They're trying also to deceive the batter. So what you can do is you can make a defensive shift. You can change the field so that the batter thinks a certain ball is coming. So, for example, if you were to bowl a short ball that would bounce up at the batter's head, the batter is most likely going to hit what's called a pull shot. So you're going to hit it 90 degrees over your shoulder, or you would hit it 90 degrees, cut shot, 90 degrees in front of you. So you might put a defender back there, and the batter now thinks that the ball's going to be short. But then you could just bowl a Yorker, and so you kind of like trick him, and now he's like not thinking to play that shot, and then he overthinks it, and nothing really happens. So it's kind of like a little bit of mind games from the fielding team and the bowler on that.
So what I'm hearing is there's lots of runs scored. There's a lot of action. They're like, we want you to hit the ball, but there's also the strategy of, as you've described, and I'm sure there's a whole thought process or strategy that goes into every aspect of a cricket match. So like, why would we not want to watch this? And I would assume you probably have a great view as a spectator, really, from wherever you are, because in some regards, it sounds like you're just in some big arena, right? And so the ball can go any direction. You're kind of in the center of the arena, and so the action's happening all over the place. I'm like, this is something I think we could get into.
Yeah,
I'm sitting here listening to this, going, this is very intriguing. This is very interesting. So I have one final question. This is a really important question. Because when we go watch our sporting events, the food is really important. And so I'm sitting here thinking of this. These matches go on for a long time. I can only imagine that there's a lot of opportunities to get food. And if you talk about India and the fact that it's the most, is Indian food a big staple of people, or it should be, at least, because I'm a huge fan of Indian food. So what is the food situation like at a cricket match?
So, like I said, I was at the Coliseum, Oakland Coliseum. That's your staple American food. There was like anything you could get there. There was hot dogs. There was, your tenders and fries. There was like, bratwurst stand. You're gonna get your regular run of the mill stuff. At the one in Grand Prairie, they had a little bit of everything. They kind of do tend a little bit to the South Asian crowd, but with it being not a lot of stadiums around the place, generally you're just going to get the regular stadium food that you would find at any baseball game here in America. I mean, coming from Australia, we have Australian styles. We have Aussie meat pies. I don't know if you've ever got to have an Aussie meat pie, but I'd recommend getting a meat
Actually
pie.
had one.
There you go. Perfect. Yeah.
Good.
So there's no, I wouldn't say there's like specific food for the cricket matches, but when I bring back to you like a little bit point earlier, when I bring Americans and baseball fans to cricket games, they are kind of surprised on how much action there is. Because like you said, they do hit the ball. Like in a regular baseball game, maybe you get 3 or 4 home runs, hitting out of the stadium. Whereas in cricket, you're getting like 20 to 30 home runs or sixes being hit in the game. And there's a hit almost every ball. So something's happening every ball. The players are always moving around. And the strategy in baseball for like the shifts and when you move a player is very kind of like small. You're only moving a player like in a small amount in baseball, but in cricket, you have to use a 360 degrees and you're moving essentially, 9 players at one time. And the strategy behind that is very fascinating. And I'm really excited for Americans to get involved and learn that, because sometimes I think one of the funniest moments when I watch it with other fans is a batter could swing and miss the ball, and I'll be like, oh, and like, why'd you make so much effort on him missing the ball? I'm like, well, because the ball was bowled like this and they set it up like this and it was perfectly executed, and they just don't have that like knowledge yet on like why that made such a big difference and why that was so important. But they're catching on.
Well, Adam, this has been fascinating. I absolutely love it. I've got to figure out how to get. So it's a game. It's not a match. Cricket is a game. Is that?
It's a game.
I know soccer's a match. So
it's a game with laws. There's no rules. It's all their laws. The laws of the game. The laws of the game. It's laws. Yes.
All right. Well, I'm gonna have to get out to a cricket game. I love it. I really appreciate you coming on the show. I hope our fans have enjoyed it as well. So hey, have a great day, and thank you for being here.
You got it. Thank you so much. Cheers.
All right, there you have it. Adam Bannon about all things cricket. Fascinating stuff. It really is. Because I know nothing about cricket, and it actually sounds quite interesting. All right, we're going to take a break. We come back. Oh boy, it's legal tampering day in the NFL. We'll talk about what that means and what it doesn't mean when the Down and Dirty returns.
The Pete Souza Show, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. You want to talk NFL draft? I don't know. How about we get you Todd McShay? You want to talk Big 12? We can get you the commissioner. Somebody about the Cowboys? How about we have on the owner, Stephen Jones? Pop culture? Michelle Beadle. I mean, we will bring on the people that you want to hear from. And these people don't join us because of me. They join us because of you. You got to watch this show, okay? It's got everything you need. Sports, hijinks, laughs. Did I mention hijinks? We'll see you on the Pete Souza Show. Now, we are under the 365 Sports umbrella. Check it out. I'm wearing a Tulane shirt. No idea why.
It's the Pete Souza Show. Sports, Pete.
Tervis is all about staying hydrated with style and durability. You can trust Tervis tumblers to keep your drinks the perfect temperature, hot or cold, for hours. From the classic insulated tumblers to sleek stainless steel water bottles, Each product is built to last and comes in endless designs to match your personality. Stay refreshed and express yourself with Tervis. Visit tervis.com today and find your perfect tumbler.
Sports don't stop, and neither do we. Welcome to 365 Sports, your home for real conversations, original shows, and coverage that lives where sports actually happen. Join David Smoke, Craig Smoke, and myself, Paul Catalina, for in-depth interviews and local stories to the moments national media misses. 365 Sports brings you the voices, debates, and perspectives fans care about every single day. Subscribe now on YouTube, search 365 Sports, and never miss a moment because sports aren't seasonal. They're 365.
Hey, sports fans, welcome back to Down and Dirty. So glad you could join us today. Legal tampering day in the NFL. It's today. It's among us. Now, I find this so fascinating. And that they use the word legal tampering and it insinuates that there's this illegal tampering that goes on. And I think, kind of the wink, wink. It's so fascinating that when you get to free agency, it's pretty much, yeah, we already know where we're going. We already know what we're doing. It doesn't seem to be a lot of surprises, meaning that the illegal tampering is probably happening. So why do we have to have the delineation between legal and illegal? And why don't they just go, yeah, look, we know you're going to talk to people. Let's just keep it above board and whatever. Excuse me. Okay. So it is legal tampering day and a lot of crazy things are going on. We're going to get into the NFL news of notes right now, where we talk about all of the most important things, or the things at least I like to talk about or find fascinating or compelling or whatever. And one of those, of course, is Max Crosby, who actually was traded for 2 first-round draft picks from the Raiders to the Ravens. And that's one of those things where, in the next few years, who got the better of that deal right there? Max Crosby's been one of the best defensive ends in the NFL. He's a guy, boy, if I'm picking a team, I want Max Crosby, and he's one of those guys that I don't like. And he was a guy that got under Patrick Mahomes' skin, and he did because he just doesn't care. Like Max Crosby's just a little bit on the edge as a human being, kind of how you have to be a really good defensive end, where there's no regard for anything. There's no regard for life. There's no regard for any of it. And so I love Max Crosby and his kind of his demeanor. Now, the really sad thing that's going on, of course, in the I guess it's the AFC. What's that division? Is it the North Division with Baltimore? It used to be the Central, but I believe it's the North, AFC North. I don't know what anyways. It's that division with Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, and Cleveland. Now, Joe Burrow, as has been mentioned, is like, he's dying right now because you have Myles Garrett, you have TJ Watt, and you now have Max Crosby to deal with 6 times a year in the season, which is insane. It's a third of your season. You're dealing with the 3 best pass rushers in the NFL. Now, does it move the needle? Does it change everything in Baltimore? And I think Baltimore is kind of one of those teams where it would make sense for Max Crosby to go, just simply because they're a team that's close, and they've been close. Lamar Jackson is healthy. You add a player like Max Crosby, moves the needle. Does it get him over the goal line and through the playoffs? Because that's kind of where they are, and they have to be, because giving up 2 first-round draft choices puts them a little bit in the hole moving forward for the next few years. But they're a team this makes sense. If you're a team building, you certainly do not want to give up the draft picks, and you got to like the boldness of the Ravens to make this move. And I mean, Max Crosby is a guy somehow you want to find and get and have on your team. You just great pass rushers are invaluable to a team, and they can really create a tremendous um, asset for your defense, simply because it's always the player that you gotta deal with. You have to contend with. You have to go. We can't just leave him alone. He's going to beat our guy one-on-one more times, and just too disruptive. We'll never get anything done. So then it limits you. So now you have to take an extra player, which you could normally deploy and use. Now you gotta eat that guy up with as an extra blocker, whatever, whether it's a running back or tight end, whatever it is. But you have to do it because you have to at least get a playoff. So that's a fascinating move. One I would do all day long, and it's just it does it move the needle? Does it put the Ravens over the top? And by the way, like if you're Max Crosby, you kind of were born to be a Raider, and now maybe you're born to be a Raven. And he went from there's not many places that Max Crosby can truly be who he is. And so you because the Ravens are kind of known for that tough defense, and so he really fits the bill from that perspective as well. Tua Tagovailoa, of course, is going to be released by the Miami Dolphins, and this gets intriguing to me, and it gets intriguing for a lot of reasons, because everyone now, right? There's a copycat league in the NFL, and they go, where's our next Sam Darnold? But it's not even Sam Darnold. It's where's our next Daniel Jones? Because clearly Daniel Jones was able to move and find a spot and be productive and kind of reinvigorate or resurrect a career. So you've got these Kyler Murrays, and you've got these Tuas and some of these guys out there, and you go, okay, this is there's a market for this. Yeah, it didn't work out there, but still this guy is a quarterback that's had some production in the NFL, and who knows, a new setting, new team, new environment could light on fire. I mean, Geno Smith, who was what people would consider a bust with the Jets, turned into gold with the Seahawks, and then he was kind of a bust in Las Vegas. But I think there's still a market for him as well. And people, whether it's right or wrong, or whether it works out or not, is irrelevant today, because it's the hot button, it's the hot topic of the day, and teams are willing, I think, to go out, make a move, make a decision. So there's going to be a market for Tua. There's going to be a market for Kyler Murray. There's going to be a market for Geno Smith, and it's all kind of a domino effect. And so, where they ultimately end up, who knows? We never know. But it's that musical chair situation that goes around, and sometimes it works out in the Sam Darnold situation, and sometimes Justin Fields situation doesn't. So now, it brings me up to kind of my next point, which is Daniel Jones, because I think Daniel Jones is the more surefire thing that's happening right now, because he was that guy that moved from one team to another, and it looked like he kind of reinvigorated himself until he got injured, but he turned down $100 million, and that's really quite fascinating to me. Very similar to the contract that Sam Darnold did. It's $100 million for 3 years, or in that ballpark at least. And and Daniel Jones says no. It's just like I'm in that $50 million or $50 million a year range, and I'm going to hold out for that. So that really throws a wrench to me in this whole quarterback market with Tua, with Kyler Murray, because Daniel Jones is probably the prize today, or the one that teams go, that's the surer bet. Now Indianapolis goes, yeah, we're kind of hedging ourselves with the transition tag. We still want to, if someone out there wants to pay Daniel Jones this money, then we can revisit it, because we can match an offer with the transition player. But we're just not prepared right now. And I'm sure a lot of it has to do with, it was a very short sample size. He did get injured, even though it was 1 year, it was whatever. And so they're just trying to just kind of play, kind of both sides of the equation here and kind of see how this plays out. And so, and there may be a team out there that just goes, look, we are massively confident in Daniel Jones, and we love him, and we'll pay him, we'll make an offer for him, and then we'll see what you do. And maybe they go, he's our first choice, we'll take a swing at him. If we get it, great. Then we just move on to the next guy. Maybe Kyler Murray's our guy or whatever. There's probably a team out there that might be willing to take a shot at Daniel Jones at a higher value than what he is as a transition player. So we'll see how that, and it's fascinating how it's kind of all kind of it'll all unwind, but it always starts with a certain player. And like I've said earlier on the show, it also starts with the Minnesota Vikings, because that's the prize of any player that wants to go anywhere. And maybe Daniel Jones goes to Minneapolis. Maybe that becomes, that could be a quite interesting scenario. I think he likes it in Indianapolis. I think it's one of those things. It's like, man, if you found a good spot, the grass isn't always greener on the other side. And you've already built a rapport. It could be a better thing to just sit tight. All of it's going to unwind here very quickly, and we'll see where everyone lands. But I thought that was interesting. This article came out in Bleacher Report saying that Daniel Jones turned down $100 million. And you go, might not be a bad thing, but Daniel Jones goes, I'm betting on me. I'm better than that. I get more. Okay. Shocking, troubling news out of Cincinnati. The Bengals are not going to offer an offer sheet to Jake Browning. I know. Yeah, he's been a backup. He's been there for 5 years. He's been on the active roster for 3. He's played in a significant number of games, played well for a hot moment, and then he was bad, so bad they brought in Joe Flacco. So Jake Browning, I know all you Bengals fans out there are going to be crushed because you no longer have Jake Browning to kick around. All right, the Dallas Cowboys did it. They actually got a pass rusher. They got Rashawn Gary, of course, for a 7th round pick in 2027. And it's like, okay. I guess this is a good thing. We'll see. He's certainly not Max Crosby, and he's certainly not Micah Parsons, but at least they're doing something. Like, we don't know what we're doing, but we do we do something. We do well. Jerry Jones doos all the time. Anyways, he today got himself a defensive lineman. All right, that's our news of notes for today. There's going to be a whole lot more coming up as we keep going down the road. We do have Martin has a question for me. I believe in the next segment, and I'm going to see if I have an answer. This is the Down and Dirty with Scott Mitchell. Stick around. So much more to come.
Hey, it's Matt Mosley of The Matt Mosley Show. We want you to watch our show every day, 1 to 3 on YouTube or wherever you get your podcast. And you get to see big name guests like Gary Patterson, Art Briles, Scott Drew, Doug McNamee, major Cowboys insiders, ESPN legends like Sal Palantonio. When news breaks on Cowboys or Baylor or NFL, we want you to look here first. 1 to 3 weekdays. It's the Matt Mosley Show.
For 75 years, Nalgene Outdoor has been your trusted companion, fueling adventures and helping protect the planet. We're committed to reducing waste, improving access to clean water, and providing simple, safe, and sustainable products for you and your family. No gimmicks, just durable, well-designed bottles built to last. Join us on our mission to amplify life, not complicate it. Because at Nalgene, what goes into our bottles matters as much as the adventures they fuel. Explore more at nalgene.com. That's NALGENE.com.
I know you're gonna love this Kodak Dot Plus printer. You guys just connect it to your smartphone and then you're gonna use the Kodak Photo Print app. It's going to print you a 4x6 photo. I am just in awe. I love how these turned out. Also, the printer comes with a free cartridge of 10 photo sheets. I can assure you, you are going to love this printer as much as my family has. You guys have to check it out for yourself.
Hey, it's Zach Gelb. We're talking NFL and college football. Plus, we have some of the biggest interviews in sports media. You got to check out the Zach Gelb Show right here on 365 Sports, weekdays, 2 to 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 to 3 p.m. Central. And make sure you subscribe to my channel, youtube.com/@ZachGelbShow.
Hey, sports fans, welcome back. It's the Down and Dirty with Scott Mitchell. So glad you could be a part of our day. Like and subscribe, all that fun stuff. And thank you for being a part of what we do. We have a great time, and we hope you enjoy it as well. Okay, Martin has a question for me. I have no idea what this is and where it's going, but I know it's going to go somewhere. So let's see where it happens. Martin, take it away. What do you have for me?
So it's not just a question. We're gonna play a little game here. We're gonna see
it's a
if
game.
you know. We're gonna see if you know March Madness national champions. Let's see how let's see your knowledge and history. Okay, so I'm gonna give you just a couple teams, and I'm gonna see and wonder if you think they're a national champion or not. Okay, if I tell you the team. Okay.
Okay,
That's
so
how
you're
we're
going
gonna
to
play.
tell me the team, and I'm going to say, yes, they've been a national champion before.
Yes. If
Okay.
you can get the year, that's even more of a tally.
Okay.
So
I don't
let's
even know
see.
what this year is, but we'll go with it.
All right, let's start first. We're gonna go with UTEP, University of Texas El Paso. Are they a national championship team?
That would be yes.
Okay. Do you know the year?
1966.
Okay, look at you. All right. I
Dude,
didn't know.
I watched the show. Yeah.
Glory Road. I watched that movie
Glory
too.
Road, yes.
I love that movie. All right.
El Hot Doggo. Yeah, I watched it. Yeah.
All right. How about Northwestern? Northwestern basketball. Are they a national
Northwestern.
championship?
I'm going to say yes.
No, they're not a national championship team. No, they
You
actually
me on
they
that
call
one, Martin.
They qualified for their first bid in March Madness, I think about 5 or 6 years ago. They did host the first national championship tournament, but they have only been in the tournament one time in their entire history.
I guess does Northwestern really have athletics? It's kind of known as an academic school, right?
Yeah, it's like the Yale of the Midwest. It's for the academic, guys of it all. All right, how about this one? This should be a layup for you. Utah. Have the Utah Utes won a national championship?
Yes.
Do you remember the year at all? If you know the year.
62.
No, it's 1944. A little bit off there, but not too far off. All right,
Okay,
18 years is
44.
not too bad. All right. How about this one? Georgetown. Do you remember Georgetown winning a national championship?
Gosh. Did they win it? Yeah, I'm going to say yes.
Okay. Do you want to shoot a year? Do you want to guess maybe?
Was it 81?
No, it's the same year one of the Niners won. It was 1984. They won in 1984.
Okay.
Yeah, they went to 83. No, they went to 83 and 84 back-to-back national championships.
Patrick Ewing.
84. Yep. Patrick Ewing. All right, how about this one? Holy Cross. Holy Cross.
Man, see, I'm going to say yes just because it's so bizarre. I'll say yes.
Yeah. They did win a national championship. They won in 1947.
Holy Cross. Where is Holy Cross?
I don't know. I want to say Pennsylvania, maybe somewhere on the East Coast. Okay, I know it's that. All right. How about this one? How about San Francisco? Okay.
Yes.
University of San Francisco. All right.
And that was, I think it was Bill Russell, or what did Will Chamberlain play at San Francisco? I think Bill Russell played there. One of the two. And I'm going to say that was 62.
No, 55 and 56. They won back-to-back national championships.
I was off. Yeah.
It's not too bad. That's not too bad. How about this one? Oklahoma. The Oklahoma Sooners. Are they a national championship?
I'm going to say no.
Yeah, there you go. All right, you're
Was
so far
I
so good
correct
here.
on Oklahoma?
Oh, yeah, so far
Oh,
only the Northwestern one tripped you up. Only
yeah.
Northwestern. How about this one? If you
Well, it's not
remember
over yet. I mean, I still have time to screw this up.
Oh yeah, you do. How about Sister Jean? You remember Loyola Chicago?
Yes.
Has Loyola Chicago ever won a national championship?
No.
You gotta retract that one right there. They have won it. They won
See,
it in
I'm screwing it
championship.
up already.
They won a
What
championship
national champion was this and when?
1963. This was before UCLA took over the whole entire sport.
Oh.
Yeah, so they won it in 1963. Speaking of which, is UCLA a national champion?
Really?
I gotta throw you a couple layups here. I gotta see if you actually remember.
Not a layup.
Yeah, we'll go with yes on that one. Is USC a national championship? They're long-blooded haters. Are they a national champion?
I'm gonna say no on the Trojans.
Okay, you're right so far on that one.
Yeah.
How about the other hated rival, Notre Dame? Is my Fighting Irish a national championship?
Oh gosh, Notre Dame's been good at basketball from time to time. I'm gonna say yes.
No, Notre Dame's never won a national championship. They're still looking for a national.
They've never won a national championship in basketball.
No, never won a national championship.
Wow,
in basketball.
that's a good question right there.
All right, how about some? Yeah, I got a few more here for you. Obviously, I'll throw you another layup. Kansas. Have the Kansas Jayhawks been a national champion? Okay.
Was it Danny Manning? I would say that was probably 88, maybe.
You're a bit far off there. The most recent one was 2022.
Oh,
2022. So a little far off there, but still, yes.
They've won multiple.
Then. Yes, they've won multiple. Yes. How about Oklahoma State? Are the Cowboys a national championship team?
Oh, see, you threw me with the Oklahoma. I'm going to say yes just because you wanted to get me with the Oklahoma one.
Yes, they
I'm
are.
going to say yes, they have.
Yes, they have. They won back-to-back national championships as well. They won it back in 45 and 46 after World War II.
Yeah, see, this is a bit before my time, but okay.
How about this one? This should be a fun one for you. UNLV, the Running Rebels, have they been a national championship
team? They have.
Okay. All right. See, now you're getting caught up here, okay?
Yeah. The Tarkanian.
Yep.
Larry Johnson. And let's see, when was that? That would have been in the 80s sometime. Was it in the 80s or early 90s?
No, this
was in the 80s. I'm gonna say 87.
You gotta add 3 more years. This would have been the year that you would have been drafted in the NFL in 1990. Yeah, 1990 they won a national championship. How about this one? Marquette
Yes.
Marquette. Okay, all right, there you go. What year do you think? What year?
Marquette was probably 74.
Oh, add 3 more years. 77. You were close.
77.
You're close. All right, how about this one? Stanford. Are the Stanford Cardinals the smart team out there? Oh, you should have said yes. They won it back in 1942.
Yeah.
1942. All right, how about this one? How about Baylor? Do you remember Baylor winning a national championship?
Yes, Baylor won a national championship.
Yes, they did. Can you
and
name
that was
the
recent.
year?
I'd say 2022.
2021 is the post-COVID year. Post-COVID year. All right, how about this one? How about Texas Tech? Have the Red Raiders ever won a national championship?
No.
Okay, all right. Now you're gaining it back. How about this one? This will be an easy layup for you. Arizona State.
No.
Okay, and finally, Arizona. Have the Wildcats ever won a national championship? All right.
Yeah, Lou Olson was Kerr there when they won it?
I believe so, yeah.
There's a Stoudemire there too, I think.
Yeah.
I'm going to say this was probably early 80s. I'm going to say, I keep saying, I don't know, 87.
Add 10 years to that. It would have been 1997 when you were in Detroit.
It wouldn't have been Steve Kerr then.
No. All right, Scott, that's all I got for you. But look at you knowing some March Madness basketball.
All right, let me throw you. Syracuse. Has Syracuse ever won a national championship?
Yes, they have won one in 2000 and 2002. That would have been before Carmelo Anthony went to the draft.
All right, there you have it. That's good. I like this question. That's pretty good.
Yeah, but that's all I got for you. Look at that. Scott Mitchell knows national championship basketball teams.
March Madness right around the corner. So
see if you
is
pay
so much
attention this
more
year.
on the Down and Dirty. What's that?
I said we'll see if you pay attention to this one this year. Maybe I'll ask you that one.
Of course I would. Yes.
All right.
Well, I mean, I'm too poor to pay attention, but I'll do my best. All right, we have some more hot headlines right around the corner when the Down and Dirty returns.
Hi, my name is Mike Lacey. I'm with Beyond the Game, a new podcast to the Rogue Media Network. Just when you thought you'd had a little bit too much about BYU, here we are to provide you even a little bit more. I, as part of the BYU group, am grateful that we're part of the Big 12 and really grateful that we're part of the Rogue Media Network. Thank you.
Circulon C1 Series Clad with Scratch Defense Non-Stick. The luxury and confidence of premium clad stainless steel meets Scratch Defense Extreme Non-Stick that won't scratch, ever. With an ultra-thick aluminum core for high-performance heating. Maximize cooking, minimize cleaning. Discover the unmatched durability and elegance of clad stainless steel. Scratch-free, worry-free, forever.
Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. Whether at home or on the go, NordVPN ensures your digital freedom. Stay secure. Download NordVPN today at nordvpn.com. That's NORDVPN.com.
Are you looking for top-shelf sports talk about the West Virginia Mountaineers, where you can get objective analysis, but with the passion of a fan? Well, look no further than right here at Couz's Corner. I am Justin Couz Walker, the host of Couz's Corner, and you can find my show on demand over at YouTube. Most shows are uploaded by 5 p.m. Eastern Time. You can also check out my live post-game reaction shows. My special guest interviews, you can find it all on YouTube at Couz's Corner. Go check it out.
Hey, sports fans, welcome back. It's the Down and Dirty with Scott Mitchell. So glad you could be a part of our day. We got some really, really hot headlines going on. One of them is the labor talks between the NFL and the referees. And their agreement actually expires here in a little while. And talks have actually broken down. And the NFL actually wants to have more access, more accountability, more involvement with the officiating. And the officials go, nah, we kind of like where it is right now. We like kind of our status, and we don't want to change it. Now there was a lockout at one point, and it had very bad results. It was for 112 days, and the officiating was not up to standards. This is kind of a precarious position to be in, and it's one of those things where you have to have officials. Like, you have to have officials for games, and through the years in the NFL, there have been a lot of officials who have gained notoriety, who have become popular. A lot of the really good ones, become woven into the fabric of the game. They become part of the game, and that's an unusual thing. I think it's an unusual thing in sports, probably more celebrity or interwoven relationship in NFL officiating than maybe at any other sport. You look at Jerry Markbright and Red Cash and some of these officials who have kind of made their trademark on the game, and Ed Hockley, the muscles and all that stuff, who's an attorney and a guy you just felt like, man, just don't mess with Ed because he kind of knows what he's talking about. So officiating is always this fascinating intertwined relationship, and you know, and it's also a scary one, and I think it's probably the most concerning relationship the NFL should have moving forward, considering the relationship the NFL now has with gambling. And because the place you're going to get people is officials, that like they can have the biggest impact, and they're also the people making the least amount of money. So I think that might be some of the concern. And I don't think officials are like, hey, we're doing bad things, so we don't want to be caught here. I think it's more of, you know, we have a good situation. We don't want to be get to a point where, you know, we're so over scrutinized that it almost makes you paralyzed, because you go, I'm not making that call, or I'm going to just call everything because I don't want to lose my job, type of thing. And there's a fine balance, I think, that happens there. But the NFL goes, no, we can't have some weekend warrior who has another job, does another thing. And I think the NFL would like to incorporate officiating even in a much, well, clearly they do, but in a much broader scale. It's just about, you know, development, about continuity, all of these things, and also accountability. And the accountability part is, you know, these games have such great significance, and the officiating can have a huge impact on the impact of a game and careers and livelihoods and everything. So these decisions officials make, that's a big deal. It's a very big deal. All right, another big deal is Jason Tatum. If we could bring Martin back into the program here. Jason Tatum, of course, has been out with an Achilles for 10 months, and he's returned. He's been with Boston, and they've gone 2-0 with their superstar back. It appears that this is a massive get, and to have Jason Tatum back with the Celtics. Martin, I'm curious your thoughts on you know, where he is and what that impact means.
Yeah, it's a massive impact, because right now before he came back, the leading pick to win the Eastern Conference was between the Detroit Pistons and the New York Knicks. They were the two favorites to come out of the East to go to the NBA Finals. Obviously, Tatum blew his Achilles versus the Knicks last year in the second round in the NBA playoffs, and took 10 months to come back from an injury. I mean, Scott, torn Achilles, I mean, those are at least a year injury with recovery, with rehab, with all that stuff. So he put in, you know, some serious work in 10 months to come back from this injury. There was always speculation at the beginning of the season. Will he want to come back? Is it right for him to come back? Because everyone thought Boston would be, you know, a 25-30 win team out of the playoffs, you know, tank this year. And the fact is, they're in the top three of the Eastern Conference right now, and now they're the heavy favorites to come out of the Eastern Conference to represent and be in the NBA Finals. This is huge. So far, Jason Tatum's averaging 16 points in 2 games. He's got about 5-6 boards. He's got a few assists. So the fact is, he hasn't lost a step. You know, it was just an unfortunate injury he took in the second round versus the Knicks. But this is massive. You know, they got their win over the Dallas Mavericks, and then they beat the Cleveland Cavaliers with James Harden this past Sunday. And this is huge. This is if Tom Brady came back from that torn ACL right before the playoffs or something like that. Like, you don't expect it, and you would expect them just to sit out and just wait for the next season. This is huge. And so for him to come back is massively impressive, and Boston right now is in the driver's seat to go back to another NBA Finals.
Yeah, like you said, I think one of the more impressive things is that they've been very competitive leading up to Jason's return. You never know how it's going to work. Achilles just, oh man, they just scare me so much. And a lot of guys have come back from them, but why they scare me is they just so often come out of the blue, and you just don't know. You don't know who's susceptible to them. You don't know how it happens. I don't even know if you know how to prevent them from happening. It's just a very odd thing. And with that ankle flexion being such a pivotal part of being a really good basketball player, you're constantly in that that position of, stretching that part of your ankle, whether it's making a cut to the basket, whatever it is, and to see him come back and to play and to play well, it's going to be fascinating to watch as they go through, because we're very close to the playoffs. I think we're about 20-ish games from getting into the playoffs. So probably a perfect timing for Jason Tatum to come back. Okay, this next one is quite fascinating to me. There was a soccer brawl in Brazil that resulted in 23 players being ejected from the game after one of the strikers crashed into the goalie, which of course started the fight. So explain to me how 23 players can be ejected from a match, and can you even play? I mean, how do you play? How do you continue with a game like that?
So I think reading the article, I think yeah, so it said there was about 30 seconds into stoppage time. So it's injury time. So it's towards the end of the game. So what happened was one of the teams was attacking and was about to get a goal on, and one of the strikers overran his run, and he ran into the goalie, and the goalie did not like it at all. He grabbed the ball. He intentionally was elbowing him. He was kneeing him. He was just jumping on him. And one of the teammates and the whole team came out from the bench and just started brawling with everybody. The goaltender, who was angry, started brawling everybody, grabbing anybody they could. And the referee, so think of it like basketball, Scott. So you get 2 technical fouls or 2 technicals, you're out of the game. And that's the same thing with soccer. If you get 1 yellow card, then you're like, all right, that's a warning. That's 1 tech. But if you get a second yellow card, then you're just ejected from the game. But you can also just get straight ejected from the game, and that's a red card. If you get a red card, you're done. You got to go to the locker room, and the referee pulled out his red card 23 times throughout this whole entire match. And this was Saturday night, and it was pretty massive to see 23 guys get ejected from one game. It was an all straight out Malice of the Palace type brawl. Everyone was swinging, everyone was throwing punches, everyone was trying to grab somebody to get them off of them. This was very serious, and so far no injuries have come about it. Everyone's all right. A few scratches, a few bruises, but everyone will recover from that. But yeah, this was towards the end of the match. They played on a little bit more. You can still play on if some of your bench players weren't thrown out. You can have reserves come on at the emergency moment in a soccer match. So you can say, hey, we had 8 guys from the starting lineup get thrown out. We're going to throw out 8 guys off our bench. And the referees will be like, okay. But, it's the red cards, not specifically for just players. It can eject coaches too. And so no coaches were ejected, but this was massive. Yeah, 23 guys getting kicked out in one game is pretty impressive.
Yeah, it is. And especially in soccer where flopping is the mainstay and you just kind of roll your eyes at it. And so when they're really getting after it, it's clearly a different view, a different optic. I think we look at soccer, at least the fans, as being the crazy ones. And so this is just an insane situation that's happened. I don't think you see it very often in the world, and to see it happen, it just was like, wow, okay. There must have been some really, really bad blood brewing for some time for that to happen. There's a couple of new hot headlines here. Travis Kelce has actually informed the old Kansas City Chiefs that he's coming back. He's gonna do his final his Eras tour of his final tour of the NFL this season. I'm sure this is his last year, but Travis Kelce's coming back, and it's a tough one. It really is. I think if the Kansas City can get some speed on the outside, get some legitimate weapons around him, I think you're going to have a much more effective Travis Kelce. Clearly, he's not in the same physicalness of what he was in the past. So, it's hard to pass up on a Travis Kelce. We'll see what happens with his return. And then there's another headline. Of course, we talked about Tua in his last in the last segment, the NFL news of notes. And Tua, actually, it looks like the Atlanta Falcons are eyeing that, and that was something I can't say people are shocked at. I think that the Falcons go there. We haven't really seen the full potential of Tua. Now this is going to be the weirdest thing in the world. And I was a left-handed quarterback, but having two left-handed quarterbacks, it's going to be like, is Michael Penix, is he left-handed? He's not left-handed.
Yep. Yeah, he is.
Is he left-handed?
Yeah, he is. Michael Penix is
That's what I
left-handed.
thought. And I started to say this, I started second guessing myself.
No,
Anyways,
no,
so Tua to Atlanta. Now, I think this is interesting to me because these teams have said we've got these young quarterbacks, and we're going to kind of put their feet to the fire. We're going to give them legitimate veterans to compete against and see if that doesn't move the needle with some of these young guys. And clearly Atlanta is taking on that strategy. So a good likelihood that Tua is going to end up with the Falcons. Your thoughts first on Travis Kelce and his decision to come back and continue playing with the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, I think, to throw a little shade, I think Taylor Swift gave her blessing and said, okay, one more season. I can be in front of the cameras, and, when they come back from commercials, they can look for me for one more season. I think it'll be interesting to see if they get Tyreek Hill. Maybe there's one more, final hoorah run with, Eric Bieniemy, Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce. The whole gang is back together type attitude. We'll see. He was still productive last season, 850 yards. 8 touchdowns. That's not one of the most absurd numbers we've seen when you're losing your peak. So Travis still has some, left in the tank. He just had a dozen drop balls last season. It was very uncanny, like with Travis Kelce to drop that many balls. Tua going to Atlanta is interesting. Like you said, 2 left-handed quarterbacks. I know this little tidbit does not really matter much, but when I was in high school, our junior year, we had 2 left-handed quarterbacks. Our starting quarterback was left-handed. Our backup quarterback was left-handed. So it's interesting to see that dynamic of can it actually work? And for us, it did because we won a state championship with it. It was a lot of fun. But with Atlanta and Tua and Michael, it's a good combination because Tua needs that structure, needs that stability, needs that calming voice, and Kevin Stefanski is that calming voice. He's a 2-time Coach of the Year award winner. He obviously has developed quarterbacks. Yeah, this past season wasn't perfect, but he helped Baker Mayfield get it turned around a little bit when Deshaun Watson was healthy and was able to play. We saw some good play from Deshaun Watson from time to time. And so there's some – I think there's some good things. You got Drake London, you got Kyle Pitts, you got Bijan Robinson, you got Tua. You don't need to do a whole lot of hard work in that offense. It will be a very run, balanced, pass-heavy offense. It will be exactly what Tua is looking for in a system that's just balanced and calming and relaxing for him to run. And, sometimes a West Coast offense is too much for a quarterback. And I think Tua is better in a balanced run-style offense like he was at Alabama. And I think if Kevin and Tua are on the same page, that relationship will work in Atlanta.
Yeah, I'm sure as the week goes on, we're going to hear more and more of these stories. I think a lot of them are going to happen relatively quick. So going to be a lot of hot headlines moving forward and a lot of fun things to talk about and speculate about what it looks like in a year to come. Because we know that some guys are going to pick great spots and it's going to be a nice fit, and others are going to be an absolute disaster. And that's why we like it, because we don't know. And it's always intriguing. All right. Thank you, Martin. Really appreciate your insight. There we have it. There's your hot headlines for the day. Thank you for tuning in, being a part of our show. Thank you, Martin. Thank you, Zach, for all that you do. And thank you to all of you who tune into the show. I hope you have a great day. This has been the Down and Dirty with Scott Mitchell. Until then, we'll see you then.